Hello friends, here I am with the new video that is the University Bits. The University Bits is a phrase used to name a group of late 16th century English playwrights and pamphleteers who were educated at the university and who became popular secular writers in their own times. So let's talk about in detail about the University Bits. So they are also called the Shakespeare's immediate predecessors. They are John Lilly, Robert Greene, George Bill, Thomas Lodge, Thomas Gate, Thomas Nash, and Christopher Marlowe. They are known as university wits because they had graduated at the Oxford or Cambridge universities. So these young graduates had no patrons to sponsor their activities, and they had no desire to enter in the church. So they turned to playwriting to make a living, and they were all more or less acquainted with each other. They were ambitious and opportunistic and often lived a reckless bohemian life. So, but they were professional men of letters and founded the Elizabethan School of Drama and paved the way for Shakespeare in their own times. So, the university wits mostly worked as a group in their own time, and each contributed something to the evolution of the drama to the point where Shakespeare was to take it up. And their plays had some characteristics in common. Let's see in detail. So, they dealt with the heroic themes such as the lives of the great men like Alexander and the Tamburlaine, and their treatment was heroic and to splendid description we can also experience in their work. We can also find the long speeches and violent emotion in the particular works of the university wits, and then their style was too heroic, strong, and sounding lines we also can experience. Grand epithet is their powerful declaration. We also can see the digressions are also there. So their themes are mostly tragic with almost no humor. So it is all about the characteristics of the university wits. Now let's talk about the university wits. The first university wit that we have is John Lilly. So Lilly as a dramatist is important as the first English writer of the high comedy and as having used prose as the medium of its expression. His plays include The Woman in the Moon, Alexander and Compass, Sappho and Phao, Endymion, The Man in the Moon, Midas. Here, The Woman in the Moon is Lily's only play in blank verse, and rest are the prose. Their aristocratic lovers, romantic atmosphere, witty dialogue, pleasant songs, and humorous subplots anticipate Shakespearean comedy. It is the characteristic that we have in John Lilly's writing. So now let's talk about the next university wits, that is the Robert Greene. Greene's important plays are The Honourable History of Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay, The Scottish History of James IV, Alphonsus the King of Aragon. Here, Green is the first to delineate woman in the manner of the Shakespeare. This is the most important characteristic that we have for this university bits. Nash called him the Homer of women, and Lilly, he taught Shakespeare something about the comedy. His plays being the first English examples of the genre to which critics have given the name romantic comedy, a genre of which Shakespeare's Twelfth Night and As You Like It represent the highest development. Here, the next university bit that we have is George Bill. Among the plays of the play may be mentioned as it is the arrangement of Paris, the Battle of Arkansas, the Old Wives' Tale, the David and Bathsheba, Edward the First. Here, his plays are talented and of variety, but he lacks skill in plot construction and delineation of the characters. So here, these are the characteristics that we can find in the George Bill's writing. There are some lacunas in his writings also. So now next, uh, the thing that we have to talk about the writer is his blank verse had often a grandeur unattained by any poet before Shakespeare. So Peele was a poet of skill and charm who experimented with the drama in order to further his career. He had little theatrical sense of gift for dramatic structure, but he had facility and versatility, and his flowing lyricism brought something new to Elizabethan drama. So the next university that we have is Thomas Lodge. Lodge's dramatic work is small in quantity, and his only surviving play is The Wounds of the Civil War, which is a chronicle play. He collaborated with Shakespeare in Henry VI and with some other dramatists. The next university bits that is Thomas Kidd. Much of the dramatist work of Kidd has been lost, and of his surviving plays are The Spanish tragedy is the most important one. It is what is called the tragedy of blood. Its horror involving murder, frenzy, and death made the play most popular in its own time. So another surviving play of the kid is Cornelia. His work shows an advance in the construction of plot and development of the characters. So the next university wit is Thomas Nash. The only surviving play that we have for this university wits is The Summer's Last Will and the Testament. It is a masque in celebration of the harvest festival. It is weak in both plot and characters. So the last university wits and which is very much famous and very much important according to the history of English literature is concerned, that is Christopher Marlowe. So Marlowe is the greatest of the university wits and the father of English tragedy. The glory of Elizabethan drama dates from the publication of his Tamburlaine in 1590, and he wrote only four tragedies during a period of 5 years from 1587 to 1592. He had no bent for comedy. The comic part in his plays are of inferior quality. So, though not the first to use blank verse in English drama, he was the first to make it supreme, and it is equaled by none of his contemporaries except Shakespeare's. And Shakespeare, who must have intimately known him and probably collaborated with him, was deeply influenced by him, it is said that. So, Tamburlaine the Great is his famous work. It is a heroic epic in a dramatic form, divided into two parts, each of 5 acts. It deals with the story of Timur and Tartar. The next work is Dr. Faustus, which was written in 1588, is Marlowe's second play. It deals with the story of scholar who is weary of studying theology, philosophy, medicine, and law, the four sciences of the time, and he turns to the study of magic, to have mastery over which he sells his soul to the devil, on condition that he shall have 24 years of life during which he will have absolute power and knowledge. The play is story of this 24 years through a number of saints, and the devil gives him whatever he demands. So the next play of Christopher Marlowe is The Jew of Malta. It is a story of man's lust for wealth which ultimately brings destruction in his life. Then last, The Edward II is the first Elizabethan historical drama. Shakespeare might have imitated it in his Richard II and Richard III. It is a tragic study of king's weakness and misery. So this is all about the university bits. Thank you very much.